Kate Middleton's hat just did something Princess Anne couldn't work around, and the 90 seconds that followed said more about two very different women than any formal palace statement ever could. Subscribe if you want the small royal moments that actually feel real, not staged. Start with the day itself, because the setting matters. Commonwealth Day falls on the second Monday of March every year, and this year that meant March 9th, 2026. The service at Westminster Abbey is one of the few remaining moments where representatives from all 56 nations of the Commonwealth gather together with the British royal family in one room. A tradition built specifically around shared history across a group of countries that couldn't be more different from each other, geographically, economically, or culturally. This year's service carried a small but telling footnote. For the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic in 2021, the BBC did not broadcast the event live, reportedly due to funding challenges at the corporation. One of the most consistent royal traditions in the calendar, and even that isn't immune to budget pressures hitting British institutions more broadly. Inside the Abbey, the family arrived in their usual sequence, each greeting captured by cameras trained specifically to catch exactly these moments, the small, human beats hidden inside a formal state occasion. King Charles arrived last, just before the ceremony began, as protocol generally dictates for the most senior royal present. William was the first family member to greet him, approaching with a kiss on each cheek, the two of them exchanging what looked like a brief, easy word before moving into position. Kate arrived dressed for the occasion in a navy Catherine Walker coat dress, paired with matching suede Gianvito Rossi stilettos. She wore a wide-brimmed hat by Sean Barrett, the exact detail that would end up defining the day's most talked-about moment, along with a 5-strand pearl necklace by Susan Kaplan and a pair of earrings that had belonged to Queen Elizabeth II. That last detail is worth noticing on its own. Kate has, over the years, developed a quiet habit of incorporating pieces connected to the late Queen into major public appearances, a small, deliberate thread of continuity running through her wardrobe choices that most casual viewers never clock. She greeted King Charles and Camilla exactly as protocol would predict, a kiss on the cheek for each, accompanied by a curtsy, the full formal gesture intact and unremarkable in the way that a well-executed royal greeting is supposed to be. Then came Princess Anne. William, greeting his aunt just moments earlier, had gone through the standard motion without any complication. A kiss on each cheek, quick and practiced, the kind of greeting two people who've known each other their entire lives can do almost without thinking. When it was Kate's turn, both women paused. The hat simply wouldn't allow the same approach. Attempting a cheek kiss under a brim that wide risked exactly the kind of undignified fumbling that royal engagements are specifically designed to avoid. Royal reporter Rebecca English, from the Daily Mail, was positioned close enough to catch the entire exchange on video, and her read on it was simple and immediate. There was no way Anne was going to attempt a kiss under a hat like that. She shared the clip on social media not because it was scandalous, but because it was charming, a rare, unscripted beat inside an otherwise tightly choreographed morning. Here's what makes the moment worth actually discussing, rather than just noting in passing. A moment like this could easily have gone a different way. Two royal women, decades apart in age, forced into an improvised adjustment to a ritual greeting, in full public view, with cameras specifically positioned to capture exactly this kind of thing. That's a scenario that could produce visible awkwardness, stiffness, an uncomfortable half gesture that reads badly on camera, and generates exactly the kind of rift headline that tabloids love to manufacture from far less. Instead, by every account and every angle of footage that circulated afterward, what happened was laughter. Genuine, shared, immediate laughter between the two of them at the same moment over the same absurd little logistical problem. That distinction matters more than it might initially seem. Princess Anne, 75 years old at the time, has spent her entire public life building a reputation around a very specific personal style: direct, unsentimental, allergic to performative displays of anything, whether that's grief, affection, or discomfort. If the moment with Kate had actually been awkward for her, if there'd been genuine discomfort, distance, or irritation underneath the improvised non-kiss, it likely would have shown, because performing warmth she didn't feel has never been part of Anne's public repertoire in 50 years of public life. What came through instead was ease, not staged warmth, not a diplomatic smile held a beat too long for the cameras, but something that read, in the moment, as authentically funny to both of them. Consider the broader context these two women share, even if it's rarely the focus of royal coverage. Kate spent much of 2024 and early 2025 navigating her own cancer diagnosis and treatment, a period she's since described in her own words as a really, really difficult stretch, one where the instinct to put on a brave face through treatment gave way, once treatment ended, to the harder realization that going back to feeling normal wasn't as simple as finishing chemotherapy. She announced her remission in January 2025, taking on a new role as joint patron of the Royal Marsden alongside William, and has spent the months since gradually rebuilding a full public schedule. Anne, across that same stretch, kept doing exactly what she's done for years, logging more official royal engagements than any other working member of the family, year after year, without pause, without a health crisis of her own, slowing her down publicly the way it did for two of the family's other most visible members. Put those two threads next to each other, and the Commonwealth Day moment reads a little differently. One woman rebuilding her public life after 2 years, defined by illness and recovery. Another who never stopped showing up in the first place. Neither needing the other to perform anything for the cameras that morning. Just two royal women, at very different points in very different chapters of their own lives, finding an ordinary hat-related inconvenience funny at exactly the same time. That's really the whole story, and it's worth being honest about its size. This isn't a scandal, it isn't evidence of some hidden family rift, and it isn't proof of some deep unspoken bond either. It's smaller than either of those things, and more real because of it. If you caught this moment when it originally happened, tell me in the comments what you thought of it. I read every single one.